Hi, it's Therese from Lostinpaper, and I'm pretty excited about this card I'm going to share today. I'm using this Mondo Secura set from the Essentials by Alan collection. Beautiful bouquet of flowers, and I'm going to be using the alcohol lift ink, which is a new product to me. Now, I saw Laura Basson using this, and I will link her video below, and mine was already on the way, so I couldn't wait to give it a try. So I'm working on some specialty paper. This is UPO paper, and I have added some blending ink, and I've added one of those foam squarey things to my blending tool, but I didn't add enough ink. I don't think. Anyway, so what I did was squirt some ink directly onto the UPO paper, and I'm using a couple of different colors here. I've got the Flamingo and the Valencia, so a bright sort of pink color and a really bright orange color. And I want to put down a lot of colour because I think that's what I'm going to need to do, because this alcohol lift ink does exactly that. It lifts the alcohol ink off the cardstock or the specialty paper. So I figured to make it really vibrant, I'm going to need to add lots of ink. Well, what I did, and what I probably shouldn't have done, was come in with the green here. Because I didn't want the circly look that you kind of get with the alcohol inks when you're adding it. So I added some blending solution, and I thought I'd come in with the blending tool again with the foam square. Foam, it's not foam, it's a felt square on the bottom of it, and blend it all out. So this is an example of what not to do. The great thing about UPO paper is it's very forgiving. I could have come in and, because I did give up on this piece of paper for this particular technique ultimately, but what I like is you can actually use some blending solution and actually remove the ink off the cardstock, off the specialty paper, and pretty much start again. So you don't actually waste it. But what I did instead here was come in with like I would normally do with the alcohol inks on my UPO paper. I just create my bright, sort of splotchy looking background. And I really love the way that this looks, and I love the colours in there. I thought I would give it a try. I didn't have very high expectations. But I did get the Mondo's Secura stamp out and stamp it directly onto this panel. The reason I didn't think it was going to work very well was because some of those areas of ink are very thick, and I was right. It just got lost in there. It actually did work better than I thought it would, but it was just such... If I had had a more solid stamp, I might have been able to get away with it, or a continuous pattern even, like something that just kept repeating. So anyway, I left that one for now and started again. This time I'm approaching it very differently. I'm adding a lot of blending solution to the UPO paper and a lot of ink. I'm using the same two colours, but I don't come in with the green this time. I decided to leave that. I've just got the Valencia and the Flamingo, but this time I came in with the white because I thought I'd try and make it like an ombre. And this seemed to work pretty well, actually. And if I did it again, I'd probably try and make it a bit more ombre. And I'm wondering if I had have left it at this point, what the ink lifting would have looked like. But I decided to go all out and add lots of colour because I figured I want this to be really... try and get this image, because it's a fairly fine detailed image, I want it to look pretty bold. So I'm using my blending tool again, and I'm leaving it. I'm not going to keep playing with this, and I'm just going to let it sit and put it aside to dry. Now, I didn't waste the other panel, and I'd like you to go to my blog and check it out. I actually made a similar but different card using the same products, and in the end, I think it turned out better than this one. Even though this is the one I was doing the technique for, this was a lot of fun. but I like the look of the other card. It's quite busy for me, and the colours are amazing. Obviously, you saw the panel. You want to see that made into a card, I'll put the link below. Alright, so I've got the image in my MISTI still, and I've added the alcohol lift ink to the image. You can use it on red rubber or clear stamps, and I will let you know that I did clean my stamp after using the ink. I'm not sure if it would damage it, but I know that stamps don't really like the alcohol inks, so I figured I might as well err on the side of caution. And because I've used my MISTI, I was able to do this a couple of times. Because it's the first time I've ever used this ink, I'm just going for it. It says that you can wipe it away. You need to do it immediately, and this is to use a soft cloth, and I just used paper towel initially because that's what Laura had used, and that seemed to work, but it wasn't. I don't know, I was figuring maybe this isn't soft enough. So then I got my dirty old rag out, as I do, and tried that. So I think I did this a total of 3 times, and the more of the alcohol lift ink that I used, the whiter it got. It went quite white in some areas, but like I said, I had added a lot of colour to this cardstock. It's like specialty paper, I should call it. And I did get myself some of the really heavy weight Yupo, although I only used the lighter weight here. This is the Tim Holtz Yupo paper. How gorgeous is this Mondo Secura? Okay, so now I've just sort of set that aside for a minute, and I did cut that down to fit on my card front, but I decided to grab a sentiment here. This is also from Ellen Hutson, and this one's called Block Words, and I'm using the negative space. Why not? I wanted something bold for the design, and I just adhered that to some fun foam so that it can pop up. I also added some fun foam and some score tape to the Yupo panel, and because it was the thinner Yupo panel paper, I did add a piece of cardstock behind it to give it a bit more support too. When I've adhered my fun foam and letters, I do like to take, or words or dies or anything, I like to take the pieces out before I disconnect it, because I just find it's more forgiving. I have less problems with it falling apart because I don't leave it long enough to completely dry. I also took a sentiment. This is out of the coordinating dies for the Mondo Secura. There's 2 words, there's wonderful and beautiful, and they're both in this beautiful font. So I've added some matte medium to that, and I've added some matte medium to the back of my popped up sentiment, and then all that's left to do is add some licorice sprinkles, and I add a few over the flower centers. And that's my finished card for today. I hope you've had as much fun as me, and I'm hoping that next time I might get it together a little bit easier. We'll see. Anyway, there's heaps more photos and a full list of supplies at my blog. Thanks so much for joining me. If you like this video, please like it, and if you haven't already, I'd love it if you subscribed to my channel. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.